Are we ready? Is it loud? Is it loud enough? The masjid, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Alright, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim wa afdalu salati wa atammu taslim ala Sayyidina Muhammadin Sayyidil Anbiya'i wal Mursaleen wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma allimna ma yanfa'una wa anfa'na bima 'allamtana wa zidna 'ilman wa tuqan wa hudan ya arhamar rahimin. فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وإن خير الهدي هدي نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وإن شر الأمور محدثاتها وإن كل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Amma ba'd. So last time we talked about the story of Musa. We are continuing with the story of Musa alayhi salam, and we talked about the story of the cow with Musa alayhi salam, and we talked about Al-Khudr. Today, inshallah, we continue on with the story of Musa, and we are actually going to finish up with the story of Musa and start with the other Israelite prophets. So the first story we have in concluding the life of Musa alayhi salam, it is mentioned in Surah Al-Qasas. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن قارون كان من قوم موسى فبغى عليهم وآتيناه من الكنوز ما إن مفاتحه لتنوء بالعصبة أولي القوة إذ قال له قومه لا تفرح إن الله لا يحب الفرحين وابتغ فيما آتاك الله الدار الآخرة ولا تنس نصيبك من الدنيا وأحسن كما أحسن الله إليك ولا تبغ الفساد في الأرض إن الله يحب المفسدين قال إنما أوتيته على علم عندي أولم يعلم أن الله قد أهلك من قبله من القرون من هو أشد منه قوة وأكثر جمعا ولا يسأل عن ذنوبهم المجرمون فخرج على قومه من زينته قال الذين يريدون الحياة الدنيا يا ليت لنا مثل ما أوتي قارون إنه لذو حظ عظيم وقال الذين أوتوا العلم ويلكم ثواب الله خير لمن آمن وعمل صالحا ولا يلقاها إلا الصابرون فخسفنا به وبداره الأرض فما كان له من فئة ينصرونه من دون الله وما كان من المنتصرين وأصبح الذين تمنوا مكانه بالأمس يقولون ويكأن الله يبسط الرزق لمن يشاء من عباده ويقدر لولا أمن الله علينا لخسف بنا ويكأنه لا يفلح الكافرون تلك الدار الآخرة نجعلها للذين لا يريدون علوا في الأرض ولا فسادا والعاقبة للمتقين. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in these verses, indeed Qarun was from the people of Musa, but he tyrannized them. And we gave him of treasures whose keys would burden a band of strong men. Thereupon his people said to him, do not exult. Indeed, Allah does not like the exultant. But seek through that which Allah has given you, the home of the hereafter, and yet do not forget your share of the world. And do good as Allah has done good to you, and desire not corruption in the land. Indeed, Allah does not like corrupters. He said, I was only given it because of knowledge. He said, I was only given it because of knowledge I have. Did he not know that Allah had destroyed before him of generations those who were greater than him? Those that were greater than him in power and greater in accumulation of wealth. But the criminals about their sins will not be asked. So he came out before his people in his adornment. Those who desired the worldly life said, oh, would that we had like what was given to Qarun. Indeed, he is one of great fortune. But those who had been given knowledge said, woe to you, the reward of Allah is better for he who believes and does righteousness, and none are granted it except the patient. And we caused the earth to swallow him and his home, and there was for him no company to aid him other than Allah, nor was he of those who could defend themselves. And those who had wished for his position the previous day began to say, oh, how Allah extends provision to whom He wills of His servants and restricts it. If not that Allah had conferred favor on us, He would have caused it to swallow us. Oh, how the disbelievers do not succeed. That home of the hereafter we assign to those who do not desire exaltedness upon the earth or corruption, and the best outcome is for the righteous. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala specified those verses talking about Qarun. Qarun, he was the cousin of Musa. He is Qarun ibn Yashar ibn Ghiath, while Musa is Musa ibn Imran ibn Ghiath. Inshallah, we're going to take a look at the tree afterwards. Now, Qarun, he was also called, his nickname, Al-Minwar. Al-Minwar because his voice was very beautiful when he recited At-Tawrah. And he was one of the followers of Musa, and he was one of the followers who came with Musa after the Fir'aun was drowned. And he followed on Musa when the people of the Israelites got lost in Sinai. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Qarun many, karamat, right? Like he gave him a special position because he was very close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He gave him knowledge and he gave him wealth. Ibn Kathir, when he talked about it, he said that he does not believe that Qarun actually learned chemistry or something like this, because the way he would receive his wealth, it's not the same in chemistry as in, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala creating something. But modern science and modern scholars and scientists, since we have, chemistry now is more developed than back then, they actually believe that Qarun may have had knowledge in chemistry. Because, you can't create some things the same way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created, that is for sure. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He also created laws within the universe. And chemistry has these laws. And with the laws of chemistry, you can create new compounds, correct? So some scholars said that actually Qarun, right? Qarun is the cousin of Musa. Harun is the brother of Musa. Qarun with a qaf. So Qarun learned chemistry, or was given the knowledge of chemistry by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he was very close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he was able to learn how to change the compound of sand and dirt and turn it into gold. So Qarun was able to have a very great amount of wealth, and he had treasures, and he had great palaces, and those palaces were literally composed of gold, and they had pearls and etc. So the keys of Qarun, they were made of gold and expensive leather, and it was very huge that they needed around 10 or more than 10 men to carry it. And the Qarun sometimes would have caravans to carry the keys. Those keys were the keys for the doors of the treasures of Qarun. So this is great, right? He has wealth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him wealth. I don't see anything bad in this. Does anybody see anything bad in this? No, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives somebody wealth, and some people, they don't have wealth. But when you are given wealth, that does not mean that you are special than other people. When we have more things, when we have more specialty, that does not make us special. That makes us more responsible. That gives us more responsibility. The same way I always talk about Arabs, right? Arabs, the native language of Arabs is Arabic, which is the language of Quran, right? So that does not make us special as Arabs. That does not make us better than anybody. No, it makes us more responsible. Now we are more responsible to deliver the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to teach Muslims who do not speak Arabic, in order for them to understand the Quran and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it does not make them special. The same thing with wealthy people. Having wealth does not make them special, it makes them more responsible, right? Because now he has wealth, now he needs to help the poor. And the people of Israel back then, they were lost, they did not have money, they were in a very poor situation. Now he has the responsibility to help the people of Israel. But what did he do? Instead, he started being arrogant. So you need to put in mind that this man was close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he was given this knowledge by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? So this is a favor from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but a responsibility at the same time. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him this, and he expected him to thank him. But instead he was being arrogant. And what did he do? He started showing off what he has. He started gathering the poor people, and he started showing off the treasures, the keys, and all of this, right? So the poor people will be like, oh, like, we wish we had what you have. And he's supposed to give them the treasure, to give them all of what he has, but instead he's not. And he started wearing good clothes, and he started extending the length of his clothes in order to show off that he is different than his people. He's wearing different clothes, better clothes, because these people now are poor and I'm the wealthiest man. All right? So one day, he would walk around among his people. He would show off his keys and his treasures. He literally ordered all of his servants and slaves to carry his keys and carry his treasures and just walk among his people, just showing off that he has money. So the people from Israel, they looked at him, they looked at the treasures he had, and they said, look how lucky this man is. Just like the ayahs we're talking about, right? Look how lucky this man he is. He has all this money. We're lost and we have nothing. And he has all of this. And he has all of those fancy palaces. And he's living like a king among us. And we're really poor in this misery we're in, right? So some of the people of Israel said, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described them in the ayahs, they're the ones with knowledge. They had knowledge. They had some wisdom. They said, well, yeah, he has knowledge, he has wealth and all of this, and he's happy right now, but that's not going to serve him eventually. Because if he's not using it for the sake of Allah, eventually he is going to lose what is greatest. So no matter how much great you can get in this world, you always got to think about the afterlife, right? ما لا عين رأت ولا أذن سمعت ولا خطر على قلب بشر. The Jannah, the heavens, what is in there, it is something that you would never expect, you would never even imagine. I mean, I will give you just this one example. All right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in heavens, we're going to have palaces from Yaqut and Murjan. Right? Yaqut is basically rabbi. And Murjan is the plants beneath the sea. Right? The creatures and plants beneath the sea. So he said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that just the palaces we have in heavens are from Yaqut and Murjan. Rabbi and the seaweeds, I believe. Correct? Marjan? Not the seaweeds. It's there's a different term for it. But anyways, if you remember it, we're going to talk about it. So they were literally telling those people that, I mean, you want to have palaces from gold, and imagine this. The best thing here that we have on earth is literally the worst thing you could have in heavens. What's the worst thing here? Think about what's the worst thing here on earth we have. What's the worst thing? Like the worst living condition you could have. You think of it as good, but it's actually the worst good. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Right? So the worst good living condition you could live on earth, what's that? No, that's actually good. But maybe let's say you have a nice apartment, right, somewhere, right, in the United States, right, away from war and away from any, terrible situation. You can pay your rent. That's good. That's good for anybody. So this good situation here on earth, this is a comparison with heavens, in which the best situation in earth, you will compare this, the best situation on earth, it's like in heavens, in the comparison of heavens, this is literally like having an apartment on earth. Does that make sense? This is how it is. So they're telling him, so don't show off your things, right? Like, don't show off your treasures and keys and all of this, because, like, this is the worst situation you can get in heavens. You can have more than that. So then the poor people who were amazed, they did not buy that, right? Their mind is closed. They're not liberated enough to think about heavens and all that. So they did not buy that. So instead, they just followed on wishing that they have what Qarun had. So one time, Qarun, so let me tell you this one quote. إن الله يحب البصر النافذ عند ورود الشبهات والعقل الكامل عند حلول الشهوات. All right? This is the situation of the people who talked about, who told the other people how they need to think about al-akhirah, think about what they could have at the end. So, إن الله يحب البصر النافذ عند ورود الشبهات والعقل الكامل عند حلول الشهوات. Because, having wealth is considered a desire, temptation. Is that correct? So, this quote is saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes that when desire comes strongly to you, your mind is complete. Your mind is full of wisdom. And you don't think about your desire, instead you think rationally. So Qarun got so much arrogant, he fed his ego, and his end goes like this. He paid a woman to go while Musa alayhi salam was having a speech, and to announce to the people while Musa is speaking that Musa did this and this to her. Basically accusing Musa of, harassing her, assaulting her. So she went and did this to the people of Israel, and trust me, we talked about many cases, right, last time about the people of Israel, didn't we? Basically the cow, right? Trust me, the people of Israel are not the best to have rumors around. Correct? And we're going to see that down the road. They're not the best people to have rumors around. They're going to take it seriously. So they took it seriously. And Musa got angry, right? Like, what are you talking about? I'm the Prophet of Allah. How dare you accuse me of those things, right? I'm saying you should not do such things, right? So Musa alayhi salam then prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He told her of the punishment that could descend upon her if she kept spreading those rumors. And then he told her, I want you to swear to Allah that I did this. And the people of Israel knew that swearing to Allah was something wrong, would get them in really bad trouble. So she said, no, you did not do this. So he told her to tell the people that he did not do this. And then he told her, tell me, who told you to do this? Why are you doing this? She said, Qarun paid me. to do this. So Musa alayhi salam prayed on Qarun, da'a ala Qarun, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends punishment upon him. So one time when Qarun was going around and showing off himself and his money and his wealth, and was wearing the best of his clothes, he had slave and such. Are you okay? Is everything fine? What's that? Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, so the palaces in heavens, they're made of coral reef, right? And rabai. Yaqut, rabai, coral reef, murjan. Thank you so much. All right, back to the story of Qarun. So Qarun was showing off again, and they passed by the speech of Musa while he was gathered around his people. So his people, their attention went to Qarun, and they started again saying, oh, we wish we had what Qarun has. Why don't we have what Qarun have? And all of that. So Musa alayhi salam, he got angry. He got pissed at Qarun. Right? Like, okay, showing off is a different thing, but now you are taking away the attention of the people from learning about Allah and how to worship Allah. So he prayed on Qarun. He prayed against Qarun. Da'a ala Qarun. So Qarun went to Musa and he said, why did you do that? لِمَاذَا دَعَوْتَ عَلَيْهِ? So Musa said, because you're doing this, because you're taking away the people from learning about worshiping Allah. You want to be arrogant, you're not grateful for what Allah gave you, that's fine, it's up to you, all right? I mean, I wish that you don't do that, you follow the straight path, but I mean, it's up to you. You're going to be punished by Allah. So Qarun said, what do you mean Allah gave me this? So Musa told him, you were given this by Allah. Allah gave you this. Allah gave you the knowledge. And he said, no. I was given this wealth because I have knowledge. And even if this was given to me by Allah, because I'm favored by Allah, I'm better than everybody else. So Musa told him, all right, I mean, you think that, but that's wrong. No, it was the knowledge from Allah, not from you. So Qarun said, okay, how about this? I'll challenge you. I'm going to pray against you, سَأَدْعُ عَلَيْكَ, and you're going to pray against me. Because I was favored by Allah that He gave me money and wealth, and you were favored by Allah that you were given, you're a prophet, you're given the prophecy and the message. So Musa said, all right, we'll do the challenge. So Musa said, do you want to start or do you want me to start? Qarun said, no, I'm going to start. And he started. He prayed against Musa. So could you imagine the challenge? He is a man who is doing a dua against the Prophet. Right? It's like somebody who's doing a dua against Prophet Muhammad ﷺ during that time. That's a big deal. Right? It's a big deal. So he did this. And of course Allah is not going to accept that. Imagine. Allah is not going to accept this. So he did not accept it. So Musa then made dua. And what was the dua of Musa? Musa said, oh Allah, make the earth swallow him. اخسف بداره الأرض. The correct term is collapse the ground on him. He said, oh Allah, collapse the ground on him, collapse his palaces on him, and who is ever following him. So it was a normal day for Qarun. He was walking again, showing off. And while he was walking and while he was going to his palace, suddenly a huge earthquake occurs. And the earthquake makes his palaces collapse. And then the ground starts tearing apart. And then it's collapsing. And everybody who's following Qarun, the earth literally swallows him. He's going beneath the grounds of earth. Can you imagine that? And then Qarun started witnessing his treasures and his money and his wealth. It's being swallowed by earth. It's going beneath the ground. So the idiot he is, instead of fleeing away, escaping, he goes to the treasure. Okay, imagine this situation, all right? God forbid, somebody's house, it's being eaten by lava. okay? So he's going there to save his house from the lava instead of escaping and letting the house just burn and, sparing his life. 100% you're going to be eaten out by, 100% you're going to be burnt, right? The same thing. So instead of him being a smart guy, he was an idiot, and he went to the place of everything where everything was occurring, where the earthquake is, in order to save his treasure. And so him and his whole wealth and his palace was swallowed by earth. So you're not favored if you have wealth, right? Today we live in a society or in an era in which we see wealthy people going extremely far with their wealth, don't we? Right? I personally saw, online, of course, didn't personally see, but people having gold cars, right? Cars literally made of gold. People eating food made of gold. The other day I saw, it's a waste of money, number one, right? You can spend this money on something better. And number two, it's just a waste of time. Somebody, I think he spent around $10,000 eating pizza made of gold in New York City. $10,000. Why? Because I'm wealthy, I have money, I want to show. Why? You can spend this money, at least, this is the stupidity where it might get, because the food you're going to eat is going to go away. But spend this $10,000, maybe get you a nice house, a nice car, instead of, if you want to show off your wealth. So just look at Qarun. What happened? Everything's gone. His whole wealth is gone, just like this, right? He gathered it through years, and everything was just gone. Earthquake. So that's a very strong message for nowadays people who are wealthy. That's a blessing from Allah. We don't envy anybody who is wealthy. Nobody should, say, oh, why do you have this money? You should not. No, alhamdulillah, you have this money. This is a blessing from Allah. Use it wisely. Use it wisely. And always remember the story of Qarun. The money you gathered, the nice palaces, the nice houses, the nice cars, the big garage with 16 cars. Each car is a Lamborghini, Bugatti, etc. All of these nice things. Alhamdulillah, nice. But remember, 1 second, they can go away. So invest your money for the bank account of Al-Akhirah. Invest your money building palaces made of rabbi and coral reef in Jannah. And you can do that. There are a lot of people out there starving, right? There are people in Africa, they're starving. They don't have food or money. There are people who are suffering from wars in Palestine and Syria and Yemen. There are people in Yemen starving, by the way. So you can build a huge, beautiful palace in heavens by investing in these cases in earth. The best trading, trust me, the best business is the business of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alright? So that was the story of Qarun. So, after Qarun, unfortunately the people of Israel still were not learning anything. It has come the time of change from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Musa alayhi salam, and bear with me with the story, it's going to be a little bit strong and there's some humor in it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells Musa, your brother, his time has come, Harun, he's going to die. Okay? Musa is like, oh my God, my brother is going to die. That's really sad and all that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him he's going to die in this mountain, this specific mountain. Okay? And he tells Musa to go with Harun to that mountain. So Musa tells Harun, hey, we've been struggling and, all of this is going around in our life. Let's have some break. Let's go on a trip together. So Harun says, okay, let's go on a trip. So they're going on a trip together. He takes him to the mountain. All right? And then Harun and Musa, they see this nice tree that they've never seen in their whole entire life. It's never existed anywhere on earth. and they see this nice house next to it, and this nice, beautiful bed with nice sheets, and it's in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of a mountain, in the middle of a desert, and this is very nice and very sweet. And then there's this beautiful smell. So Aaron is like, okay, Musa, I'm tired. Let me sleep in this house. Okay, I want to sleep on this beautiful bed. So Musa tells him, okay, you can go ahead. Musa knows what's going on. So he tells him, okay, go ahead. So Harun is like, but what if the owner of this house comes and he yells at us and he gets angry and he harms me? All right? Musa says, don't worry, I'm here. I'll guard you. And Musa knows what's going to happen, right? So he says, don't worry, I'm here. All right? So Harun tells him then, no, I'm still scared. Why don't you sleep with me tonight, right? Let's sleep in the same spot. Let's sleep in the same house. So Musa is like, okay, brother, okay. All right, so Harun was sleeping, Musa was sleeping, and then suddenly the angel of death comes. All right, and Harun was like, okay, wait a second, what's going on? All right, so the angel of death is like, hey, Harun, it's your time. So Harun looks at Musa and he says, wait a minute. And Musa said, I'm sorry, it's your time. So Harun said, you tricked me. You made me come into here. Okay, so, and then the angel of death takes the soul of Harun. But why did Musa go with this? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted Harun to die a very beautiful death. A very calm and beautiful death. And he ascended to heavens with this beautiful bed. In a very beautiful bed from heavens. Sleeping on it. SubhanAllah. So then, this is why I'm telling you, it's not the people of Israel are not the best people to have rumors around. Okay? Then Musa comes back to his people. So he went with who? With Harun, right? Now where's their Harun? So he goes back to the people of Israel without Harun. So the people of Israel were like, hey, where's your brother? So Musa says he died. He died. I buried him and that's it. So the people of Israel tells Musa, you killed him. The people of Israel did not like Musa, by the way. They liked Harun. Because Harun was very soft with them. Right? Just like the case of, remember when they worshipped the calf? Harun, what did he do? Harun, he told them, do not worship the calf, return back to Allah. But he was not, hazim. He was not, intense with them, right? And they almost killed him. Unlike Musa, when he came and he knew that they were worshipping the calf, Musa became angry and they feared him. They were scared. So they did not like Musa. They enjoyed Harun more to be their leader. So they accused Musa of killing him. And Musa said, okay, people, all right, we've been through a lot, all right? This is the most ridiculous so far. You're not going to accuse me of killing my brother, right? He's my brother. I'm not going to kill him. And they're like, no, you killed him. And then he went and prayed 2 rak'ahs for Allah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala descended the bed with Harun on it to the people of Israel and revealed him to them. And Harun told the people, he did not kill me. And then he ascended back to heavens. All right? So, and then the people of Israel believed that Musa did not kill Harun. Correct? Good. After 2 years, Musa was in his house peacefully. And then a man approaches Musa. And he tells him, Musa, labbi nida'a rabbik. Right? Answer the call of your Lord. Your time has come. You're going to die. Okay? So Musa is suspicious. Is that the angel of death? So Musa looks at him. He's like, wait, how dare you tell me this? And he slaps him on his face. And then he punches his eyes. And he blows his eyes out. So the angel of death now his eyes is corrupted now. He doesn't have an eye no more. So the angel of death goes to Allah and he says, oh Allah, your servant does not want to die. And he did this to my eye. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he gives him his eye back. and he tells him, okay, all right, go to Musa and tell him, put your hand on an ox, and the amount of hair his hand is going to cover, for each one hair, 10 years is going to extend it of his life. So imagine putting your hand on an ox and how many hair you're going to cover. So that's probably hundreds of years, probably. So he went to Musa alayhi salam. He tells him, okay, listen, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells me this and this and this. And then Musa asked him, okay, what's going to come after this? Like after the years of my life that are going to be extended, what's going to happen? And he tells him, death, you're going to die still. So, I mean, yeah, you slapped me and you hurt my eyes, but eventually you're going to die no matter what. Musa says, well, okay, then just, kill me now. Take me now. I want to die now. Right? Musa is fed up. Like he had enough with the people of Israel. So he's like, okay, just take me now. All right? So Musa dies. And he died 2 years after Harun alayhi salam. Why did he slap the angel of death? People be like, see, Musa likes life. He does not want to die. See, no, it's not because he likes life. Somebody like him, he went through the people of Israel. Like, really, 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 like, we should applaud for Musa alayhi salam because he had so much patience with those people. Remember last time when I was telling you about the story of the cow? Right? I was going crazy, right? So Musa alayhi salam had patience. He was being patient with them for, I don't know, maybe like hundreds. He lived for 120 years. So maybe like 60, 70 years of his life. That's just with the people of Israel. How about Fir'aun? Right? So he has been through a lot with his life. Why does he want to live? Would you choose to be with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and with the safe and secure place around Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and in heavens, or would you choose to stay in earth with all of the struggles? Right? You're going to choose Allah. So why did he do this? After Musa alayhi salam died, do we remember Yusha ibn Nun from last lecture? Al-Khidr, right? Al-Khidr, when Musa and Yusha ibn Nun went to meet Al-Khidr. So Yusha ibn Nun is the sidekick, the right hand of Musa. Yusha ibn Nun took over. Musa and Yusha ibn Nun, by the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they were preparing for a full invasion of Palestine. So Musa alayhi salam, he did not want to die because he wanted to have the honor of liberating Palestine and liberating Al-Quds from the disbelievers. He wanted to witness this in his lifetime. And after that, he wanted to die. And this is evidenced by when Musa alayhi salam, asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that when he dies, he makes him get buried closer to the Holy Land by just one stone throw. So if you throw a stone, this distance, this close to the Holy Land. So very, very close to Palestine. So he wanted to see Palestine before he dies. After he died, Yusha ibn Nun took over. We're going to see inshallah his genealogy, Yusha ibn Nun. But he descends from the tribe of Yusuf alayhi salam. So he is a descendant of Yusuf alayhi salam. So Yusha ibn Nun takes on the leadership of Banu Israel. Yusha ibn Nun is a prophet. He is a prophet. He's not a messenger. He's a prophet. He is continuing the message of Musa alayhi salam. He's teaching them the Torah. What's the difference between a prophet and a messenger? A prophet, he continues the already existing message. A messenger, he has a new book. He is delivering a new message, right? Like Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he is a messenger, and a messenger is also a prophet. Does that make sense? Okay. So Yusha ibn Nun, he is a prophet, Nabi. And he is leading Banu Israel to the big invasion. So him and Musa alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَقَطَّعْنَاهُمْ اثْنَتَيْ عَشْرَةَ أَسْبَاطًا أُمَمًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala divided the people of Israel into 12 tribes. So they divided them into 12 tribes, each tribe with a certain number, of army, basically an army with weapons and all of that, and people who are 20 and older would fight. And and for each tribe, Musa alayhi salam put a leader, a prince. So the tribes were Robil. Each tribe's name is a brother of Yusuf, a son of Yaqub. So put that in mind. So Robil was the first tribe, and they had 46,500 people that are fighting. And the leader was Al-Yasur ibn Shadinora. I know very weird names, so bear with me with that. And then the second tribe, his name is Sham'an, the tribe of Sham'an. They were 59,300 people. And the leader was Shlomail bin Hurishadai. And then they had the tribe of Yehuda. There were 74,600 people. And the leader was Nahshon bin Amindab. Nahshon bin Amindab. And then the tribe of Issachar, and they were 54,400 people. And the leader was Nashanail bin Sughar. And then the tribe of Misha. Misha was the son of Yusuf. Yusuf had two children. He had Ephrathim and Misha. So Misha, the tribe of Misha, and they were 31,200 people. And the leader was Jamla'il bin Fadhasor. And then the tribe of Binyamin, and they were 35,400 people, and the leader was Abidan bin Ja'don. And then the tribe of Jad, and they were 45,650 people, and the leader was Al-Yasaf bin Rawil. And then the tribe of Ashir, and they were 41,500 people, and the leader was Faja'il bin Akron. And then the tribe of Dan, and they were 62,700 people, and the leader was Achiazar bin Amshadi. And then the tribe of Miftali, and they were 53,400 people, and the leader was Akhira' bin Ain. And then the tribe of Zabulon, and they were 57,400 people, and the leader was Al-Bab bin Haylon. And then the last tribe, which is the tribe of Musa and Harun, is the tribe of Levi. And this tribe, Musa alayhi salam, they were 22,000 people. Musa alayhi salam, they gave him the priesthood. They were given the priesthood by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, al-kahana, in which from this tribe, the prophets were, and the people who would have knowledge in at-Tawrah, and the rules of Judaism. And they were given carrying and guarding the tomb. Remember the tomb from last time? فيه بقية من ما ترك آل موسى وآل هارون تحمله الملائكة. The tomb. They would carry it guarded. This tomb, the people of Israel would carry it everywhere they fight, because it was blessed by Allah, so it would bring victory. Alright, and then they organized the army in which the tribe of Lawi, they would be in the middle, and the tribe of Robil, they would be on the right side, and the tribe of Dan and Naphtali on the left side, and the other would be scattered around. And after that, as we said, Musa died. Yusha ibn Nun. Now this is a very important time right now. Okay, so bear with me. Yusha ibn Nun would lead all of these, the 12 tribes. And they would start and wage a war against Al-Kan'aniyin in Palestine. They would go in and fight. Al-Kan'aniyin were not, easy people to fight. We're talking about people who were giants. Right? If you see somebody who's 2 meters, what would you think? We're not talking about somebody who was 2 meters. We're talking about somebody who was like 6 meters, 6, 7, 8 meters. So imagine fighting those people. We're talking about people compared to, not skyscrapers, not to that extent, not to Burj Khalifa, but we're talking about like 12-story buildings, something like this. Okay? So they were fighting those. and they were victorious. And Yusha ibn Nun was able to liberate all the Palestinian cities. So the idea of Palestine, and I know the people of Israelites liberating, etc. There are two requirements for Palestine, during that time at least. The descendants of Abraham and being Muslim. So just as an answer, because some people might ask, right? Like today, for instance, the Zionists, right? They claim that this is their land, they're Jews, that Ibrahim, the descendants of Ibrahim, this is their land. First of all, I think we already talked about the last time, probably the 2 lectures ago. We already talked about how not all of the people who are Jewish, they descend from Israel. We already talked about that, right? We said that the Jews are divided into three subgroups, right? They are Mizrahi Jews or Mizrahi Jews, Sephardim, and Ashkenazi. Ashkenazi Jews, they're not Israelites. They're white people, just like the white people you see outside here in America. They're Germanic, Slavs, etc. Sephardim, they're Spanish and Italian. They're not Israelites. Israelite means you're a descendant of Ibrahim. You descend from Ibrahim through his child Ishaq, through his child Yaqub. The Israelites are the Mizrahi Jews. The Mizrahi Jews are the Israelites. Even those, there are the people who are Israelites who descend from Yaqub, and there are people who were Arabs who converted to Judaism. Not every Muslim is an Arab, right? Same thing with the Jews. So that's crossed off. For the Zionists today, or the people claiming that Palestine belongs to Jews today, so that's crossed off. And the second requirement is that you have to be Muslim. ما كان إبراهيم يهوديا ولا نصرانيا. Ibrahim, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states, Ibrahim was not a Jew, he was not a Christian. ولكن كان حنيفا مسلما. He was a Muslim. إن الدين عند الله Al-Islam. The religion that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted is Islam. So Yusha ibn Nun, Musa, Ibrahim, all of these prophets, they were Muslim. Israel, who is Yaqub, he is Muslim. So cross off that from the requirements. So are the people of today who claim Palestine, the Zionists, is their claim right? No, because they do not fulfill those two requirements. Who descends from Ibrahim today? Who descends from Ibrahim? Arabs and the Mizrahi Jews. So those who would claim Palestine for themselves. And as I said, the second requirement is being Muslim. So Muslims, no matter what race you are, Arab, Persian, Turkish, Pakistani, Indian, etc., those would claim Palestine. The people who were following Yusha ibn Nun and Musa and all of these, they were Muslims. And this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them Palestine. So let's clear this out. For those people who say that this is exclusively for Jews. It's not exclusively for Jews. Okay? So Yusha ibn Nun destroyed all of the cities and was able to gain it. And he went as far as Jericho. Do we know where Jericho is? Jericho is Ariha. So if you look at the map, where's the cursor? And the laser pointer. So this is Palestine, right? So Ariha is here, way north of Palestine. And I believe Ariha is considered the oldest or the most ancient city in history. All right? Ariha was very well fortified. It had huge castles, huge giant walls. So they were not able to invade it that easily. Yusha ibn Nun and Banu Israel. Oh, also, with Banu Israel, that's just a plus. They were not only the Israelites who were fighting. With the people of Israel, there were also the descendants of Al-Ais. Remember Al-Ais, the twin brother of Yaqub? And there were also people who descended from Ismail. So basically, Banu Ibrahim were fighting, not just Banu Israel. Okay? So that also adds on for the claim that this land only belongs to the Israelites. No. So anyways, they were all fighting, and they crossed the Jordan River, and they were fighting in Jericho at Asr, the time of Asr, on Friday. And Saturday was holy to them back then. And Saturday they should stop not eating. They should stop any activity and just worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it was the 14th of Tishreen. Tishreen is the first month of the Jewish calendar. So the first month of their calendar, the 14th day. So Yusha bin Nun knew that once Maghrib hits on Friday, they can't fight. But he does not want to stop. He wants to liberate all of the Holy Land. And so he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the sun not to set and the moon not to rise. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fulfills this prayer, and He holds the sun from setting. So imagine that the sun keeps on, and Maghrib has a lengthy time to come until they liberate Jericho. And so they wake up, and then they scream Allahu Akbar, all of them in one sound, and they start using al-buq, right, like the horn. So the walls are crushed from the sound. And by the way, that's scientific, right? If you have enough sound, strong sound, you can corrupt a solid being. You can cause cracks, or even, when you have a huge sound, you can destroy glasses, right? You can destroy glass. So they had a very, very huge sound that it was able to tear down the wall. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them this blessing. And they were able to liberate Jericho. And Yusha bin Nun established a kingdom in Palestine, and he fought 31 kings of the Levant. 31 kings. They won against 31 kings. And after that, do we have time? Okay, maybe 10 minutes? Something like that. So after that, they settled. Their new king is Yusha bin Nun. And his vizier is Caleb. Some people said Ghalib bin Yufna. Ghalib bin Yufna or Caleb bin Yufna, this man is the husband of the sister of Musa. Do you remember Maryam, the sister of Musa, who was watching on the tomb that Musa was put on when he was a kid? He married her. So Caleb was the vizier. He was basically the one who would become the king if Yusha ibn Nun died. There was one man, his name is Bil'am bin Ba'ur. He was one of the close people to Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about him in the Quran. In Surah Al-A'raf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَاتْلُ عَلَيْهِمْ نَبَأَ الَّذِي آتَيْنَاهُ آيَاتِنَا فَانْسَلَخَ مِنْهَا فَأَتْبَعَهُ الشَّيْطَانُ فَكَانَ مِنَ الْغَاوِينَ وَلَوْ شِئْنَا لَرَفَعْنَاهُ بِهَا وَلَكِنَّهُ أَخْلَدَ إِلَى الْأَرْضِ وَاتَّبَعَ هَوَاهُ فَمَثَلُهُ كَمَثَلِ الْكَلْبِ إن تحمل عليه يلهث أو تتركه يلهث ذلك مثل القوم الذين كذبوا بآياتنا فقصص القصص لعلهم يتفكرون. So this man, Bil'am bin Ba'ur, he was a very close man to Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him knowledge. Another man, another example of Qarun, right? So this man was given knowledge, but his people, they did not want to fight. So they asked him to make dua against the Israelites and Yusha bin Nun and the people of Musa. And he was one of the people who was given Ismullah al-A'zam, the great name of Allah. And this great of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with anything, He would give you, if you know this great name. So we don't know what's that name. Alright? There's a story about it. We're not going to talk about it now for the sake of the time. But he knew this secret. So they told him, use this and do this prayer. And he was like, no, I can't. And then they tempted him. They gave him money or wealth or being a king or whatever. And he fell for it, unfortunately. So he chose dunya over akhirah. So he rode his donkey in order to go to where the Israelites and the people who were fighting were in Yusha bin Nun. And the donkey would stop, he would hit him. Then he would stop, he would hit him. And then the third time, the donkey says, "Can't you see the angels? They're stopping me from proceeding." So he does not care, he hits him. And then he reaches the mountain that is called Mountain Hisban. And then he sees the army and Yusha bin Nun, all of these guys. And then he starts asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to pray against them with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would change his tongue to ask in favor of them. So he kept doing that and his people got mad, like, "We asked you for one thing." And so he said, "Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeps changing my tongue. So there's only one way." So he went to his people and he told them, "Bring all of the girls you have and all your daughters. Let them wear the best of their clothes and put on makeup, be so beautiful. And let them go to where Yusha bin Nun and his army are and tempt them to commit adultery." So imagine how he turned from somebody close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala into this. So this is what they did. And the women went to where Yusha bin Nun and his army are. And unfortunately, is it surprising me telling you that the people of Israel fell for it? It's not surprising, right? I mean, they've done so much things. Okay, so they fell for it. Okay, and one of the head of the tribe of Sham'un, his name is Zumri bin Shalom. Not Shalom, right? His name is Shalom, not Shalom, right? So Shalom, he fell for it and he committed adultery with one of the women. And he literally opened his house for any adultery action. So he would gather all of the women who came over and he would gather the men. So it got really disgusting. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala descended the plague upon them. So one man, his name is Finhas bin Al-Yazar ibn Harun. Alaykum salam. His name is Finhas ibn Al-Yazar ibn Harun. So he is the grandson of Harun alayhi salam. He heard about this, so he grabs his weapon, harba, right? It's like a stick with like a metal in a spear. He grabbed his spear and he went to where they are and he massacred them all. He killed them all. And then he went out in front of the people of Israel. Everybody, of course, was like, what's going on? And then he grabbed his spear and he rose it and he said, "Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is what happens to who sins." All right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lifted the plague from them. And so, this story, by the way, the trick they're doing, it's happening in our time. I remember my teacher, he was Egyptian. And he told me that the Zionists, they would inject women, Israeli women, Zionist women, with HIV. And they would send them to Egypt to make them look so beautiful. I think that was during the war, during the 1973 war. And they would try to let Egyptians fall into, temptation and spread HIV all around Egypt. So they still use these disgusting tricks till this day. All right. So after this, as we said, Yusha bin Nun was the leader. They killed 12,000 people from the people the Canaaniyin. He fought 31 king, as I said. And then, after that, they entered the city of Jericho, Riha. And this is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about in Surah Al-Baqarah. He mentioned that, he said, وَإِذْ قُلْنَا دُخُولُوا هَذِهِ الْقَرْيَةَ فَكُلُوا مِنْهَا حَيْثُ شِئْتُمْ رَغَدًا وَدُخُولُوا الْبَابَ سُجَّدًا وَقُولُوا حِطَّةٌ نَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ خَطَايَاكُمْ وَسَنَزِيدُ الْمُحْسِنِينَ فَبَدَّلَ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا قَوْلًا غَيْرَ الَّذِي قِيلَ لَهُمْ فَأَنزَلْنَا عَلَى الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا رِجْزًا مِنَ السَّمَاءِ بِمَا كَانُوا يَفْسُقُونَ. So, when they entered Jericho, Ariha, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them, to the people of Israel, enter Jericho and say hitta. When you enter, don't be arrogant. Don't show off. Alright? Lower your heads and be humble. But instead they said no. They said spelt. Basically it's a type of wheat. They said hinta. We're going to enter and we're going to take all of the resources. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala descended upon them the plague. I don't know why they never learn, the people of Israel, like so much things. All right? So they punished, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punished them. So finally they settled in Al-Quds, the new capital, and Yusha bin Nun ruled until he was 125 years. So he lived 127 years. So 27 years. He lived 27 years after Musa, and then he died. So unfortunately, because we really don't have time, I would have talked about Ilyas and Ilyasa and all of these guys. What's that? You want me to say it? We don't have time. We don't have, we have to. It's like 10:56. Sorry, 9:56. So I think at 10:06 we need to pray after 10 minutes. Is it 10 minutes? 20 minutes. So we have time. It's a vote. Who wants me to say them? Do you guys want me? Raise your hand. If you want me to continue, raise your hand. Okay, everybody. Okay, everybody wants me to. All right, so Yusha ibn Nun was the ruler. Yusha ibn Nun dies at the 127. Unfortunately, there was no account of how he died, so there's no humor about that, right? Because there's always a humor with the way prophets dies, and I don't know why. He dies. Who's now the new leader of Banu Israel? Caleb ibn Yufna, the brother-in-law of Musa alayhi salam. So Caleb ibn Yufna, the same thing, teaches them about Torah, etc., and then he dies. After that, the person who leads is Hizqayal ibn Budi. Some other sources said he's Hizqayal bin Yufna. He's the brother of, what was his name? Caleb. His English name is Izkael. This is the man who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions his story in the Quran. أَلَمْ تَرَ إِلَى الَّذِينَ خَرَجُوا مِنْ دِيَارِهِمْ وَهُمْ أُلُوفٌ حَذَرَ الْمَوْتِ فَقَالَ لَهُمُ اللَّهُ مُوتُوا ثُمَّ أَحْيَاهُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَذُو فَضْلٍ عَلَى النَّاسِ وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَشْكُرُونَ. So basically, there were people living in the city of Dawrdan, which was near the city of Wasiq, which is in Iraq, right? The city of Wasiq in Iraq today. Wasiq was not then established back then. Wasiq was established by Al-Hajjaj later on during the Umayyad period. So there was a village called Dawrdan, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala descended a plague. And some sources claim that they were ordered to fight for the sake of the, jihadun fi sabilillah, for the sake of protecting the new founded kingdom. And they refused. And they started fleeing from the city of Dawrdan to flee the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, die, mutu. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, أَلَمْ تَرَ الَّذِينَ خَرَجُوا مِنْ دِيَارِهِمْ وَهُمْ أُلُوفٌ. There were thousands who fled so they don't die. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to teach them a lesson. No matter what you do, you're always going to die. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, you're going to die at this, this time, you're going to die at this time. There was once a story in which there was a guy who wanted to take a plane. So his mom forgot to wake him up. So the plane, he missed it. So she's watching the news and the same plane he was going to be on crashed. So she's happy. Her son, survived. She goes to wake her son up. He died. He died on his deathbed, in his bed. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you, there's an ayah about it, that don't think you're going to flee death. If I say that's your time, you're going to die no matter how. Right? You're supposed to die in a car accident, but you escaped, but this is your time, you're still going to die somehow. Somebody's going to die, for instance, April 14th, 2 o'clock. You're still going to die at this time, no matter what. So Hizqayl, now he's the new leader, and he's a prophet, by the way. He's the new leader. He is passing by the city. So his people tells they see the deaths, and he says, his people say, if you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to, resurrect them, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him, would you like me to resurrect them so they can be an example to the people of Israel? And he says, yes, please, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, resurrect them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him, tell the bones to come together. So they were bones. So imagine, thousands of corpses, bones. And he says, bones come together. So the bones literally fly in the air and start coming together and forming. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him, say, nerves and meat come together. And he says this, Hisqeel, and then the meat start forming. Oh, imagine this, like you're seeing skull in front of you, and the meat just comes from nowhere, and nerves in front of the people of Israel, thousands. It comes together. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him, say you are alive with the permission of Allah. Hisqeel says that, and thousands of people who are literally just bones in front of us just a second ago are alive. So they wake up and they know they're alive, and they go to their families and they're happy. All right? And so they got resurrected again in front of the people of Israel as an example. So after Hisqeel after Hisqeel, he goes back, they fight, and they go back to Al-Quds, comes Ilyas. So what happened is, when they got resurrected, Hisqeel made an agreement between them, a contract between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the people of Israel, that they would never do any sinning no more. They would never question Allah. They would never do those things no more, right? They've done so much, you would never do this no more. They said, okay. Throughout the years after Hisqeel died, they forgot the contract, and they started worshipping idols, mainly Baal. Baal is a very famous Phoenician god and Babylonian god, basically. Okay? Not Babylonian. Phoenician, and the western side of the Fertile Crescent. So they started worshipping Baal. Hence comes the name of the city, which is in modern day Lebanon, northern Lebanon, Baalbek. Have you heard about the city? Baalbek. So Ilyas was sent to the people of Baalbek. Ilyas. And he had his student Elisha. So Ilyas is Elijah and Elisha is Elisha. And Ilyas starts telling his people, do not worship, the Baal and those gods. Worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the king of the kingdom back then, he was a kafir. He was a disbeliever, and he ordered his people to worship Baal. So he fled to the Mount Qasyun in Damascus. Ilyas and Elisha left to Mount Qasyun in Damascus, and they hid in Magharat al-Dam. We talked about Magharat al-Dam so many times, right? And it exists till today. So they started worshiping Allah. Some said that they stayed for 10 nights. Others said they stayed for 40 nights. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells Ilyas, the king died. There's a new king. Go tell him, present for him Islam, tell him to worship Allah. So he goes to Baalbek again, and he tells the new king. The king accepts Islam, and he orders the whole country to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Only 10,000 people did not, and the king executed them all. So the whole kingdom became Muslim again. So some people say now Ilyas did not die. Ilyas is still alive till our time. So remember we talked about Al-Khidr last time? So some sources claim that Ilyas and Al-Khidr would meet each year. They would fast Ramadan together, and they would go to Hajj together, and they would drink from water from the water of Zamzam, and this water that they would drink, it would fulfill their needs each year. And as I said, we don't know the authenticity of it. Last time I presented the two facts that Al-Khidr may be alive, maybe not, and I said there are strong evidence he's dead. So what about Ilyas? There is no hard, solid evidence. There is one hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ was walking with one of the Sahaba, and then there was a man who was like 6 arms tall who came to the Prophet. He hugged him and he told him, I am Ilyas. But this hadith is da'if. So Allahu A'lam. So I personally think Ilyas is dead. I mean, logically, because the ayah says clearly that we did not allow anybody who was before the Prophet ﷺ to be immortal. Everybody died. So, Wallahu A'lam. So, Ilyas, after Ilyas comes Al-Yasa'. Al-Yasa' would continue on to teach his people about Torah and following the straight path and etc. But his people, they forgot the straight path. They started worshipping Baal again, those idols. And because of this time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punished them a very big punishment. The tomb that was the blessing from Allah that gave them the victories, in one of the battles between them and the Phoenicians and the Canaani people from Gaza and Asqalan, they lost it. And the people of Gaza and Asqalan, Jalut, they took it with them. So they lost the tomb. So after that, the people of Israel would never be victorious. No more. So one day before Al-Yasa' died, excuse me, he said to his people, who would promise me to fast the days and pray the nights? And one of the people said, I will do it. So again he said, who would promise me to fast the days and pray the nights? So one of the people said, I will do it. So again he said, who would promise me to fast the days and pray the nights? One of the people said, I will do it. And so this person was given this task. So he would fast the days and pray the nights his whole life until he dies. This man, his name is Bishr ibn Ayyub alayhi salam, who is Dhil Kifl alayhi salam. And I think we talked about the story of Dhil Kifl before when we talked about the story of Ayyub, but I'll mention it. So Dhil Kifl, he would fast the day, pray the night. So he has no time to sleep. He has like 1 hour or something to sleep. So Shaitan wanted him to be pissed because the promise was he would fast the day, pray the night, he would never complain. He would never get angry. So the Shaitan wanted him to be pissed, to get angry and complain. So the Shaitan came to his house during the time he would sleep. And he told him, he would knock the door and he would tell him, hey, I need some help. My people kicked me out and all of this. So Dhil Kifl would say, okay, and that's the time where Dhil Kifl would sleep. So while they're walking, he would turn around and he would find this man disappeared. So he'd go back to his house to sleep. So the door would knock again. And then the Kifl says, who? And he says, my people kicked me, the Shaitan. He came in the form of a human and says, my people kicked me, please, can you help me? So the Kifl goes out to help him again. And while he's going out, he turns around, he disappears again. Okay? So the Kifl goes back and he says, okay, no matter who knocks on the door, don't answer it. Don't open the door. Okay? So the Shaitan comes again, he knocks on the door, and then the Kifl, he says, don't open the door. They don't open the door. So because he's a Shaitan, he goes through the wall. So the Kifl then wakes up, and then he finds the man. And then he asks the people, didn't I tell you not to let him in? So they said, he just went through the wall. Like, what? So Dhil Kifl now recognizes. He says, okay, all right, now I know who you are. You're the Shaitan. And he says, yes, I came here to piss you off so you can break the promise, and I failed at it. and he admitted that Dhil Kifl was able to win this promise. So these are the stories of Dhil Kifl, Ilyasa, Ilyas, and all of these prophets. So let me just check if we covered all of them for today. Alhamdulillah. So next time we're gonna start talking about Samuel or Shamuel. Things are gonna get really, really, really heated. They're gonna get very exciting. All right? We're gonna start talking about the united Hebrew kingdom, Dawood, Sulaiman, and how Judaism came to be. Okay? So inshallah, before we finish, I promised you there is going to be a surprise. Right? It's dead? There is no time? For the next time, inshallah? No, it's going to take more than that. Okay, for the next time then. It's a surprise. Let me give you a hint. Do you love the Prophet ﷺ?
It's about the Prophet ﷺ, something very special. And it relates to Adam at the same time. Think about it. Alright? So, Jazakumullahu khairan wa baraka bikum, inshallah. Spread the word about next time, inshallah. Right? Bring the youth. Inshallah. It's very exciting. We're going to dive in details that are not, it's not generic. So let's do dua. Allahumma hadina fi man hadayt, wa afina fi man afayt, wa tawallana fi man tawallayt, wa barik lana fi ma atayt, wa qina wasrif anna sharra ma qadayt. Innaka taqdi bil haqqi wa innahu la yuqda alayk, wa innahu la yadhillu man walayt, wa la ya'izzu man adayt. Tabarakta rabbana wa ta'alayt. اللهم اجعل القرآن ربيع قلوبنا ونور صدورنا وجلاء همومنا يا أرحم الراحمين يا أكرم الأكرمين وصلى اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين جزاكم الله خيرا وبارك فيكم. Thank you. Allah